Thank you all for making the time to join us on today's webinar. My name is Natalie Taylor and I'm a content marketing writer here at Feedvisor. I'm joined by Jarret McGovern, co-founder of Rise Brewing and a seasoned expert in product development, marketing, and brand building. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that we will be sending out a link to today's recording and there will be time for Q&A. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, we encourage you to enter them into the space provided and we'll do our best to get to all of them. The COVID-19 pandemic has drastically disrupted the retail industry and shopper behavior. In the wake of the pandemic, US retail sales are expected to drop over 10% this year, according to eMarketer. But e-commerce is expected to grow 18% as consumers rely on Amazon and other e-marketplaces for items that they need. Many brands have had to quickly adjust their strategy to adapt to this shift in consumer behavior. And for brands that have historically relied on brick-and-mortar retail, how can you pivot to engage with consumers and earn customer loyalty through digital channels? So today we'll be discussing brand building strategies and digital experiences that you can implement into your e-commerce business to drive brand awareness and customer engagement in today's digital first climate. Jarret will be discussing various ways for brands to pivot product development and packaging for online selling, the impact of COVID-19 on the growth of e-commerce and the imperative to adapt your strategy accordingly, how brands can adjust their online marketing approach to resonate with consumers in the current climate, and also predictions for what the retail and e-commerce industries are going to look like in a post-pandemic world. So from there, Jarret, I'll let you take it from here.
Thanks, Natalie. So we are Rise Brewing Co. We are an all-organic, nitro-infused cold brew coffee company. We literally started brewing cold brew coffee in our apartments. At that time, I was working with the water filtration company, so we've always had the foundation of using the best ingredients we could possibly use to make the best tasting beverages possible, starting with water. And we were cold brewing with really good water, and we were buying really good organic beans to make the best tasting coffee we could make. That mission is the same then as it is now, to use the best we can to make the best tasting. We said, how can we take this awesome stuff with cold brew, which makes coffee taste naturally sweet without the acidity, and help you make that even better? So we looked into nitrogen and we started nitro infusing our coffee with our cold brew with nitrogen, and it was an incredible difference maker and experience. It tasted like a latte without any cream, any sugar, and we were using all organic ingredients to kind of make the best energizing coffee we could make. And we provide great energy for good people to do good things. We have a really good culture at Rise, and culture is so important, as much now, then, and as it ever will be. Brands really speak to consumers firsthand now. So you want to make sure everybody on your team is providing good energy, good feedback, and with one another and with consumers. Here's our line of products. We quickly moved from making nitro cold brew in an apartment to scaling up in a garage, and then we started selling our nitro cold brew coffee all over New York City and Brooklyn, friends, restaurants, bars, barbecues, all that kind of stuff. A big break for us was people who would go into the restaurants that we served at started asking for Rise at their office. At that time, we were all working double jobs, and having this structure of having to brew for 300-400 people in an office really started to kind of like create a brewing schedule for us, and we were really proud to be fueling offices and people in New York, some of the brightest minds, best athletes. So to pivot that, we said, how can we fuel even more people besides just fueling people in offices and out of a kegerator? How can we make our product something that you can have at home and deliver online and share on the go? So we started figuring out how we could can our nitro cold brew. And here you see a line of cans, and a lot of this came from our early experiences and our early adopters telling us, we love your Nitro cold brew, but we love to add milk. What kind of milk do you suggest? We had a little cafe in the Lower East Side, and we wanted to make sure the milk was organic. We were plant-based for the majority, so we looked at all the best plant-based options out there. Oat milk was the milk that resonated the best with our consumer base and also sold the best at our cafe. So we created a line of oat milk lattes and an organic classic latte with dairy milk to complement our black coffee. Since we started, we were one of the first to sell Nitro cold brew coffee, and over the past, and that was, we launched in 2015, and in the past few years, you've seen a tremendous growth in the category. Players like Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks getting involved. Some of the best attributes of nitrogen are not just the awesome cascade or the frothy head, but also it's an organic natural preservative. It keeps coffee tasting fresh and also gives it a longer shelf life. And I think you're probably going to see more beverages using Nitro in the future. I think this is just the beginning. Pepsi experimented with launching a Nitro soda, and I think there will be more in that realm. At our brewery, we used to do something called F-Round Fridays, where we just figure out what else plays well with nitrogen. What can we Nitro at the brewery, from alcohol-based concepts to root beers to sodas to strawberry apple drinks to rosé, to anything we could, and Nitro actually really complements a lot of beverages very well. In addition to Nitro being on the rise, oat milk is also exploding. We took the oat milk that we were using for our organic oat milk lattes, we put it in a Tetra Pak, and we passed it around to our team, brought it to a couple trade shows, and it was the best milk that any of us had ever had for both coffee, cereal, smoothies, and even to bake and cook with it. So we said, let's see if we can launch this, and let's time the market as best as we can. As you're seeing now, during COVID, oat milk is one of, if not the most sought after and purchased things going on. It's tastes like whole milk. It's creamy. It's delicious. It's naturally sweet like milk, and it's got a really long shelf life. It's shelf stable, and you can store it in your closet. And for everybody who was hoarding up in the early days of COVID and stocking up, it was an absolute perfect dairy-free alternative. I think some of the things you're seeing, the sales of oat milk in the US spiked almost 500% at the beginning of COVID. And it's now become the #1 dairy-free milk of choice. And it's only growing from here. So we sell our coffee, we sell our oat milk to a bunch of retailers, e-commerce, and office clients. And as Natalie mentioned, one thing that I think we're all seeing right now is, as part of the new normal, the emphasis on retail is starting to go down a little bit. It's decreasing, and the emphasis on e-commerce is increasing. The retailers that are adopting and changing and getting with the times are adopting amazing new strategies where you can go to a grocery store, or you can order your groceries on an app. You can use Instacart. You can either have it delivered to your home, or you can pick it up right at the grocery store. And I think we're going to see a whole lot more of that. But before that takes off, e-commerce is absolutely exploding for especially beverages and food that are in the shelf-stable space. You're seeing spices like McCormick's absolutely explosive growth because people are cooking at home, people are making coffee at home, and it's taking away a little the emphasis on where we want to promote and how we want to catch people in retail. Now we want to catch them in e-commerce. For us, as I mentioned before, the big explosive growth for us came by selling Rise to offices. We had about 1,000 offices in the country. Each office anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people. The Facebooks, the Netflix, the Apples, NBA, and now all those offices are closed. So we had thousands of people every day drinking Rise and loving Rise, talking about Rise. And now they're no longer going to the office, and we can't had that same experience with them. So how do we reach them? We no longer reach them at retail as much. We have awesome display racks and shippers, but people aren't seeing that right now. So a lot of our customers would see that. They'd walk by if we launched a new product, like we just launched our oat milk. You'd see the big displays. You'd read it. You'd touch it. You'd feel it. You'd engage with the product. You'd see it amongst other products. Now people are shopping in retail for the names that they know, the names that they trust. So our strategy has to shift. We still have to have an impact at retail. We still have to have an emphasis there. But during this COVID time and the potential resurgence of COVID, we have to stay agile. So we are engaging with our consumers as much as we can on a real-time basis by literally sending out emails and promo codes to all the people who are part of the Rise family, all the people who used to drink Rise in their offices. We're chasing them home now. It's not enough to just hope that they find us. We have to find them. So to make people feel like they're part of our community and part of our team, we are setting up promo codes for, buy one, get one, or 35% off, where they can either subscribe or buy Rise and get it shipped directly to their home and enjoy Rise coffee in the morning and the afternoon in their work from home station, the same way that they were enjoying Rise as we were fueling them from their working station at work. And we've created different things to help give back. We have if you buy Rise, we give Rise to people on the front line, doctors and nurses that are literally fighting the real heroes of this, that are saving all of our lives and putting themselves directly in harm's way. We don't want to have them go out and get coffee. So we're taking this opportunity to say, let's give back to those that are helping us. That started in a very natural way for us. Early on when COVID hit, we said, well, what do we provide, to people that is meaningful, that impactful, that gives them joy, that gives them happiness? Okay, we provide coffee. So the first couple of weeks of COVID, we had all of our field marketing team literally going out and donating Rise to all the local hospitals in New York, Connecticut, Los Angeles, and Pacific Northwest, where we have the most density. And that program went really well, it was really well received. So we said, how can we grow this program? So we created something where every time you buy Rise, we give Rise to the front lines. And we've now donated over 100,000 cans. And it's been awesome for our team, and it's been awesome to engage with the community. And I think the same way that when we had Rise in all these offices, we had people talking about Rise, how much they loved Rise, or how it was helping fuel them, how it was better than another coffee. And now we want to keep those conversations going. So one thing that's really slowed down for everybody is field marketing, marketing and events, almost to a halt. And I think most companies have to be thinking that way, because you don't want to capitalize or be the first ones to capitalize on events that then get people sick. So we've shut down our field marketing efforts to a point where we're still seeding, and we're doing things like giving to hospitals events that are doing very healthy, like tents that are set up outside of a brewery or a restaurant. We're trying to help restaurants get back on their feet. We are even sometimes, in some cases, donating coffee to restaurants and bagel shops and juice places, saying, here's the best we can help, and trying to drive awareness to those places. But it's really slowed down, and we've got to figure out what the wave of the future is. There's a lot of live streaming of music and yoga and just inspirational talks, mental health, podcasts, stuff like that. And we're exploring all those opportunities. I don't think that the integration for brands to be successful and drive sales off of those platforms has really been integrated and done in a good way yet. So a lot of it for us is field marketing is about sampling and getting our product into people's lips and getting them to try our product and taste it and feel our energy and feel our vibe. So that's hard to do right now. So we're trying to adapt and adopt different strategies and trying to be helpful to the people that, do field marketing events, concerts as their job, and really having conversations with them and saying, what are you seeing? What's working? What's not working? So one of the things that is working is social media time and engagement is up. So we're saying, well, let's give them something to talk about. Let's create collaborations with brands. We launched a coffee beer, a coffee non-alcoholic beer. We've done collaborations with Red Mill and organic oat companies, cereal companies. And we're saying we have to drive conversation. People have to be talking about Rise right now, and we've got to give them things to talk about. So we're trying to create unique experiences and really engage with them. We're giving product out to social influencers. We're looking for athletes right now. The cost to engage with athletes and influencers is dropped, and there's a lot of potential very effective ways to engage with them right now, especially as athletes aren't playing sports. So we're trying to figure out how we can become part of their daily routine and how we can engage with their fan base, because that's the same way that, if we were going to set up a stand at a 3-day concert, we'd reach 50 to 100,000 people. Well, social media engagers, especially even on the micro influencer side, can be really impactful, and it's another way to reach 50 to 100,000 people over a weekend by creating promos or creating cool collaborations and things that they want to talk about and love. So that has all helped us increase our online sales. And I think, as Natalie mentioned, our online sales in some channels are up 300%. So as we've lost some ground in other categories, we've gained a tremendous amount online. And with that, you get all the different email addresses that you can capture. You get that firsthand engagement with the consumer. You can offer them specific deals. You can give them certain bits of information and let them know about new product launches coming out. And it's a really great way to have firsthand contact with your customers. And that's how we grew our company. When we were first delivering Rise to offices, we were literally double parking our cars or our parents' cars on the streets in New York City, walking up to an office, high-fiving an office manager, rolling a keg into the office, high-fiving 5 to 10 other people in the office and talking with them, seeing how their weekend was. We knew everybody's name, and we got to tell them when new things were coming out and keep everybody excited. We lost that as we got bigger. You just can't do that anymore. When you get into Walmarts and Kroger's and Safeways and you get into 1,000 offices, it's a lot different than when you're in 10 to 100. But now with the emphasis online again, you can re-engage with the customers. And I think you've got to really figure out what your brand vibe is, what your energy is, and how you can create authentic conversations with them. Our grocery retail is on the rise as well. We don't know where that goes. There's ebbs and flows to it, but people are certainly buying a lot more shelf-stable coffee. People want to be baristas at home. So retail and online is up, and I think one of the reasons why is we're a shelf-stable product, and we've always thought that you should be buying our coffee in bulk. So one of my favorite quotes is where to play and how to win. Where to play, so you select your playing fields, and how to win defines the choices for that, for winning on that playing field. So what are people doing right now that's different? They're watching more shows. Streaming services are way up. That was a trend that was happening anyway. Spending a ton more time on social media. Okay, so we've got to create now more social media ads. We've got to engage with people more on social media and figure out what those different platforms are. TikTok is exploding. YouTube and Facebook are down a little bit, and Instagram's up a lot. Spending longer time on messaging services. So, okay, do we start figuring out ways to find people via text message and text message ordering and sending out codes to people text messaging, or just, communicating with people text messaging? Listening to more music. Spotify is way up. They're not just, people aren't just listening to in a car. What they found out is that Spotify, people are listening to Spotify at home via Alexa or whatever your streaming app is. So we're looking into now how we can, do more advertising on music streaming, even though the conventional thought would be less time in the car right now is less time music streaming. Well, that's actually not the case. It's just adapting. And there's a lot more time on music, and there's just different channels that people are listening to now. There's an explosion of podcasts. So one thing that we're looking a lot into is what podcasts we can be a part of. We're hopping on a lot of podcasts. We're doing a lot of different online sort of Zoom meetings or similar to what we're doing today with Feedvisor is hopping online, telling our message, engaging with people, getting tribes together, getting communities together and starting conversations. We're doing a lot more videos right now, and we're doing a lot more team videos. We're not necessarily using a lot of influencers. We're saying, here's our team, like come into our world. And we're showing people more what we do on a daily basis, what it's like for us during COVID and how we can relate together. Video games, streaming is up. So we're sending some coffee to some video gamers as well, so that we can be something that's fueling them through their 10-hour video game streams with hundreds of thousands of people watching. I think the new normal, what you're seeing right now is the chart on the left is shelf-stable grocery spikes in the wake of coronavirus. It's been an absolutely tremendous growth. And when we first launched our products, they were not shelf-stable. And we thank the stars every day that we made that transition, and it was a hard one. But it was extremely important at the time, and it's even more important now that people can store excess product in their garage, in their closets, in their cabinets, keep the ones that they're using fresh in the refrigerator, and also for distributors and big retailers to be able to not have to use cold storage to store your product. Shelf-stable products are exploding right now, and you have to make sure that you keep all the consistency and quality as you get to shelf-stable. And for us, that's always being organic, not adding any preservatives or anything that's bad for you. So doing it in a natural way. But Walmart, which brought in 250 billion in revenue, is now doing grocery pickup in 3,100 stores. And they're doing grocery delivery in 1,600. And you're going to see a lot of grocery pickup, the Chipotle lanes, where you order from an app and you pick it up. Home Depot's doing an incredible job at this as well. And I think you're going to see a lot of the big retailers using their parking lots as multi-use places. Some places are even adopting restaurants and doing quick service kind of restaurants in the parking lot with like food trucks and stuff like that. And that might be helpful with people that are waiting in line to get their groceries. Who knows where it's going to go, but I think you're going to see multi-use for all the parking lots, those big parking lots and the big retailers. And you're certainly going to see a lot of stores bringing your groceries and your products out to you in the car. Customer demand, similar to us, in online has grown 300% for Instacart. People getting you groceries, delivering you stuff, ordering online. Uber Eats and Grubhub, Seamless, tremendous growth out of all those companies. And you've got to figure out how you can adopt your strategy to fit in that growth. How can we now start selling coffee, with Grubhub and Uber Eats, which we had done in the major cities, but now it's not just major urban cities. Now it's everywhere. And so you want to really make sure you're connecting with your the restaurants that are on Grubhub and on Uber Eats, and saying, hey, make sure we're on the menu. Let's offer a special. If you buy a bacon, egg, and cheese, you get a free rise, just so people know that we're there and you can get in that routine. Work from home, it's here to stay. CEO of Slack, Stuart Butterfield, accelerating a shift to digital transformation up to 5 years is what he's seen and Slack has seen with COVID. They've taken on a tremendous amount of new paid customers. I think something close to like 20,000, and they had 80,000 before after years of growth. So Microsoft Teams and Slack certainly here to stay. I think that transformation is happening everywhere. Similar to what we said about ordering on Seamless or ordering on Amazon or ordering on Walmart. One thing you see is a lot of people who had traditionally not ordered online are now setting up accounts and ordering online. And once this virus is over, they will still have those accounts. The baby boomers that had never ordered anything online before, my mom, my dad never did it. I would always order for them, are now ordering everything online. They're noticing how easy it is, how convenient it is. And when everything comes back, they'll go to the grocery more, they'll go to stores more again, but they will keep those accounts online, and they're going to be ordering way more online than they ever had in the past. They're realizing how easy it is. This is a great stat. How many people would like to continue to work remotely? 98% of people. So I think what you're going to see is both offices are going to be able to save money on not having to pay the big rents for people to be working there. People are seeing more productivity at home. You're having more time to have a flexible schedule. You can work from multiple places. I think what we've seen is you're just always on call, which is great. And there's a good and bad to that. You have to literally kind of sign off and tell people that you're signed off for a while. But we're seeing even more productivity. We're seeing more communication. I'm a big believer in seeing somebody shaking their hand and sharing a drink or a meal with them. But you can do that via Slack. We do happy hours and stuff like that to keep things fresh and fun. But I think as it comes back to a normal, you're going to just see less time in the offices. People are going to use offices and kind of schedule meetings in an office and times in an office where they only go in maybe 2-3 days a week. And you've got to give the people what they want. Ads are certainly more effective right now. I think there's less distractions. You're not looking at an ad on your phone while you're having a conversation with somebody. You're actually looking at your phone. You're actually engaging. You've got an hour before a Zoom meeting, or you're in the middle of a big email, and you're working from home, and you're reading something, and you're actually engaging with it. So that stat's showing about double the effectiveness, and we've seen that as well. For our strategy, selling online, we are looking into more targeted ads, figuring out what works. We want to make sure we're doing all the proper keywords and paying for the keywords that are working, whether it's nitro or organic or cold brew or coffee. And making sure that our videos have those embedded in them too. And there's blogs that are out there, so we're at the top of the search. But everything's got to be cohesive. Because what the interesting thing I think that's happened with COVID is you're seeing that people don't want ads to stop. I think people might have thought that they did at one point, but they don't want ads to stop. They just want ads to be more targeted. They want positivity. There's a lot of negativity going on in the world. You have to address that, but you want to have an uplifting, positive message. You want to be a company of trust. I think people are absorbing information in a more infotainment, entertaining way than ever. And figuring out what the new way of absorbing education and information is. It's more of an infotainment where people are just loving absorbing, podcasts and information about life and being able to slow down for a second. And one of the things that I like to think of COVID as is it's like you're moving from one house or one apartment to the next, and everything comes out of the apartment or everything comes out of the house before you move in. And as you look at your new place, you look at all the things that you've just taken out and put in the moving truck, and you say, well, what's coming back in here with me? What do I want? What's part of my life that I want to bring back with me? What do I want more of? What do I want less of? What do I keep in the truck, or what do I give to Goodwill or give to a friend? Because I don't really need that in my life. I think you're seeing a lot of people wanting more positivity, more information, more caring about the environment and environmental issues, more caring about what they put in their body, more caring about mental health and physical health. And that's showing in terms of what's charting. Whether it's Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, working from home, TikTok is exploding, Zoom meetings for interaction, smart news, local breaking news apps. People want to be updated and informed. And I think some of the trends you're seeing in ad, obviously some of these are going to change, but there will be a new normal, and you've got to look at the outliers here. Now government spending's down and sports spending's down and travel spending's down. Travel might stay down for a little while. Sports and government will come back as they come back. But look at the spending on pets, look at the spending on shopping. automotive spending is up, and people aren't going in to buy cars right now, but spending's up because people are wanting to take less public transportation. People are wanting to do less shared rides. They're understanding the germs and the issues with that. So I think you're going to see a spike in automotive when we get back to this new normal as well. And then health and fitness is going to continue to climb at home. Everybody's going to be a personal chef, a barista. The home is going to be a kitchen and a restaurant, as well as many other things as well. So with that, let's go invent tomorrow. The words of Steve Jobs. The best way to think about what the future is going to look like is to take in the past, learn from it, but let's not harp on the things that we lost. Let's look at this 2020 as potentially the most important year yet. We got to pause, we got to think, and we hopefully are going to become better and stronger after this. And let's go invent tomorrow instead of worrying about what happened yesterday.
Awesome. Thank you, Jarret. But for more insights on the top e-marketplaces and their benefits and nuances for brands and sellers operating on those platforms, you can download our free Amazon versus Walmart Playbook, which includes differences in fulfillment options, item uploading and management, pricing on each marketplace, steps each company is taking to get ahead in grocery, rapid delivery, product selection, and a breakdown of Amazon and Walmart's advertising offerings and their benefits for marketers. And we are going to open things up for the Q&A, but we also have a brief poll that you should see on your screens now. As always, if you'd like to learn more about any of the ongoing initiatives that we have here at Feedvisor, please connect with us. All right, now let's get into some questions.
All right.
So Jarret, first question we have here. Do you see the grocery stores becoming the new version of the old Circuit City where a shopper goes in and sees the product, but then they purchase it via e-commerce?
Wow, that's a great question. I do in a lot of ways. I think that if you look back online, I see it in some ways like shopping. People never thought that people would shop for clothes online. So I see it as shopping for clothes in an interesting way. And I'll get into the Circuit City side of it. But people didn't think people would shop for clothes online. Now it's tremendously explosive, and you're looking at clothes and you're finding your fit, and then you're going online and you're picking out the different colors of what you want, because you know that brand has a good fit for you, and you know that it works. I personally have had some not great experiences with the Instacarts of the world out there, where when people are picking my own groceries, they end up picking the wrong thing. They might pick fruit that's not ripe. And I don't end up liking it as much as if I had went in the grocery store and, picked it myself. I want raw cashews. A lot of times it comes as salted cashews, for instance. So I think that could be the case, but the quality of the services is going to have to greatly improve. Whereas electronics, when you see something that's an electronic product, you see an iPad, you see an iPod, you see an iPhone, you can just purchase it online. If you want to go take a look at it, go take a look, see what the colors look like, play with it and have fun. But you know that the quality is going to be very consistent. So I think grocery quality and storage, and then the delivery of that would have to greatly improve, because there's a lot of variance in that. So I actually don't think that unless that happens. I think that you'll see a lot more of quick grocery trips and pickup. But yeah, I think we're a little ways away from that. And it depends on the items. I think if you have something that's in a can like Rise, or you have a beer, then yes, I do see that model happening. So I think the groceries will probably have to consolidate more, and they'll say these are the products that people do like to take a look at, see, feel, and there is a variance. If you go to a butcher shop and pick out which cut of fish you want or which cut of meat you want, or you buy produce, you want to see it. So maybe the groceries can have half of it turn into kind of like a showcase, and then the other half turns into the products that are box packaged and shelf stable. And those I think you can just get delivered.
So this question kind of ties into that one. Customers look forward to the in-store shopping experience, especially probably with Rise, maybe in-store samplings or meeting the team. How can you translate that same experience online?
I think you just have to be aware that there's no real replacement for human interaction. And once you become aware of that, you say, how can we get as close to that as possible? And if you're having a lot of human interaction, then on your social media platforms and your advertisements, you could probably have a little bit less because people are already used to seeing you, feeling your vibe. But in this day and age, I think you've got to really reimagine the way that you want to engage with people online, whether that's YouTube, email campaigns, collaborations with other brands, where you can say, hey, this brand's awesome, and the community loves this brand, and this brand loves us. So let's put our brands together, our communities together, and then we'll double the amount of engagement we have, and we all share the same core messages. So I think you just have to be aware that if you can't see people in person, you can't tell them your story. And if that's important to you as a brand to be able to do that, then you've got to find ways to do it. And I think what you're seeing, the explosive growth in like podcasts and YouTube videos and Instagram and TikTok, is a good way to show your personality and who you are. And I think that'll have to continue.
What have you done in terms of your Amazon strategy specifically that's helped you get more traction online?
Well, that's a good point too, and that's part of the question before as well. One of the best ways to show who you are and what your personality is and what principles and what goals and mission you have as a team is to literally engage, whether that's via emailing back or text messaging or however you can do it with the customers. And so for Instagram, it might sound simple, but quickly following up on every email, quickly following up on every comment, whether good or bad, letting people know that you are there, that we are there, we're with you in this, we're watching, we're together. So then take that one step further, and we reimagine what our packaging looks like when it gets shipped from our website or shipped from Amazon, because now that's one of the only ways that you can engage, where you say, hey, look, you open up a box and here's a postcard in there from our team. Here's a better quality box. Here's better stickers on the box. Here's a free sticker. So quality packaging, quality control your products. Make sure that they don't, go out in a way that you wouldn't want to receive a product. Yeah, I think just like making sure that your Amazon storefront feels like it's a cafe and it's got like a vibe, and your website does too, that it's got a vibe of what you would want to achieve and pull off in a retail location, because that is your retail location. So yeah, I think spending more on how you can create a digital infrastructure that can create an experience that a retail one could, is one of the best ways to do it. And realize when your product gets in someone's home, try and think of it as you being in there, and how would you want to be perceived, and making sure that everything looks good, is clean, and there's some free kind of giveaways so that people feel special.
That goes right into this next question. What kind of images or other kinds of content do you have on your Amazon listings to convey your brand experience?
Good question. So I think for us, every product's different, but for instance, for our oat milk, we're now going to have a lot of different recipes and use cases. So you'll see that both online, digital, you'll see that in videos, you'll see that on Amazon, as we just launched. So everything's going to be constantly updated, but we're saying, here's how you use the product. Here are different ways you can make an amazing vegetarian penne alla vodka. Instead of using cream, you can use our oat milk. our oat milk froth, so you can make an awesome latte if you want to. It goes incredible with cereal and granola, and it's the best ingredient you could possibly have in a smoothie, and it's great in coffee. And so I think like showing images that kind of say, here's all the ways to use it, because once again, you're going to have less conversations with people. And then those fewer conversations you have with people who are not familiar with your brand, because people aren't going to trade shows or there's not a lot of field marketing. So the less conversations you're having with those people, then the less conversations those people are having with other people, and so on and so on. So now you've got to kind of say, let's showcase this, all the ways that, you know, that it's awesome, and not assume that anybody knows anything. Just kind of show like, here are the different use cases. You can have fun and be happy using it this way, and it can help both save money and be better for you health-wise, which I think is important too, as people are now focusing more on their health, and then also focus on the health of the planet. And you know, those are some interesting things with oat milk as well. It uses the least water, it has the least carbon emissions. And like, those are all pillars that we're now building more around, as there's more attention and eyeballs to those very, very important issues.
We have time for one more question. Do you think that email marketing has lost its efficacy during COVID?
You know, I think that it spiked previously. I think now one thing that you're seeing is, you know, we use Slack at Rise, and I'm blown away by how much fewer emails over the last couple of years I've had by using Slack. Internally, we are all, you know, using Slack together. So email is just inherently not quite as effective as it was. The only emails I'm getting are now from outsiders, and in a lot of ways, it's feeling a little bit like, you know, I'm getting spammed, even though I'm not, because most of the like important internal conversations are happening now on other platforms, which is crazy to think that shift's happening. So I think email marketing has spiked, and it's on the way, you know, down in a way. But at the same point, it's still effective. You know, there's just other ways to reach people, whether it's on Instagram, or whether it's on any social media platform, or whether it's on Facebook, or whether it's on Amazon. So it's just one of the ways, and it's probably not quite as effective of a way. So to answer the question, yes, I think it's less effective, but I think that there's room to adopt and adapt, because once you get on to into someone's email, then you can take them places, and where do you want to take them? So I think we have to have a better understanding of where people want to go off an ad via an email campaign, and send them directly to the buy page and give them a direct deal, and perhaps make them feel special by saying this is a very good deal and it's only going to last for a certain amount of time. So I think we've got to get better, or else it's going to become less and less effective.
All right. Well, Jarret, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. It was really great to have you, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks, Natalie. Thanks, Feedvisor.
And thank you to everyone listening in. As a reminder, we will be sending out a link to the recording shortly. And for anyone whose questions we didn't have a chance to get to today, we will follow up with you. With that, please feel free to reach out if you're interested in learning more. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.